Homelessness is a difficult problem in many countries. Many people do not have a safe place to live. They might live on the streets or in temporary shelters. But in Europe, one country showed a different way. Finland became famous for nearly solving its homelessness problem. For many years, Finland was the only country in the European Union where the number of homeless people went down. Finland used a special idea called housing first. The main idea is simple but very important. A home is a basic right for everyone. Under Housing First, homeless people received a permanent apartment right away. They got their own home. They did not need to do other things first, like finding a job or stopping drug use. They got the key to a flat. This was very different from older ways. The old way often asked people to fix their other problems first before they could get a real home. This new idea, housing first, turned the old way upside down. It gives the home first because having a stable place makes it easier to solve other problems. Organizations like the Y Foundation helped make this happen by providing homes. Because Finland had success, many people in other countries want to know more. They ask, how did Finland do it? Was it easy? And can their idea work in other places too? Is Finland's success something special only for them? Or is it a good plan that can help people everywhere? This story will look at Finland's housing first idea. We will explore how it worked and if it is a miracle or a model that other countries can learn from. 2. The old way failed. Before Finland found a new way to help people without homes, it used an old system. This system was like a staircase. Homeless people had to climb steps to get a permanent home. It was a step-by-step process designed to help them become ready for stable housing. First, people often had to stay in temporary shelters or hostels. These places provided a bed and some food, but they were not real homes and offered little privacy. To move forward, people had to meet certain strict conditions. For example, they often had to stop using drugs or alcohol, which is called getting sober. They also had to actively try to find work and follow many rules within the shelter system. After they followed these rules and showed they were changing their lives, they could move to the next step, perhaps a small temporary flat or transitional housing. The general idea was that they had to fix their underlying problems, like addiction or unemployment, first. Only after proving they could live independently and follow rules could they potentially earn a permanent home. But this old staircase system had many serious problems. It did not work well for most people who needed help. Life on the streets or in temporary shelters is very difficult and stressful. People often had serious health issues, complex mental health problems, or struggled deeply with addiction. Trying to get sober or find a job while living in an unstable shelter environment, often with many other people, was incredibly hard. The conditions were difficult for many vulnerable people to meet. Because of this, many people got stuck on the lower steps of the staircase. They could not move up to better housing. They stayed in temporary places for a very long time, sometimes for many years. They were trapped in a cycle of temporary housing and homelessness. Experts in Finland studied this traditional method carefully. They saw clearly that it was not effectively helping people escape homelessness and rebuild their lives. Many people were left without a real home for years because they could not meet all the strict requirements while living in unstable conditions. Juha Kakinen, who leads the Y Foundation, a key organization in Finland, explained that this old system was simply not successful at helping people leave homelessness behind. It was clear that Finland needed a completely different approach to truly help people find stable housing and then address other problems. The old way of making people earn their home did not provide the necessary support or foundation. It failed to solve the problem for many people in need. 3. A new idea: housing first. Finland needed a new way to help people without homes. The old way did not work well, so they started a new idea called housing first. This idea is simple but very different. The main rule of housing first is that having a home is a basic human right. It is something everyone should have, just like food or water. It is not a prize you get for doing something good first. Under Housing First, a person who is homeless gets a home right away. They get a small apartment, often with just 1 or 2 rooms. This is their own place. They get a key and a paper saying it is their home, like a normal renter. What is different? They do not have to do anything special first to get this home. They do not have to stop using drugs or alcohol. They do not have to find a job first. They do not have to be ready for a home. They get the home first. This is the opposite of the old system. The old system said you must fix your problems first, step by step, and maybe one day you get a home. Housing First says you get the home first and then you can fix your problems. An organization in Finland called the Y Foundation helped start this. Its leader, Juha Kakinen, explained the idea. He said the old way did not help people enough. They decided to change things completely. They believe that a home is a safe and secure base. Think about it. If you have no home, it is very hard to do anything else. Where do you sleep safely? Where do you keep your things? How can you look for a job or go to the doctor? It is almost impossible. But if you have your own door and a warm place to sleep, things change. You feel safer. You can rest. You can start to think about other parts of your life. The idea is that when a person has a home, they have a strong place to stand. From this safe base, they can start to deal with other difficulties they have, like health problems or needing work. The home gives them stability and helps them begin to rebuild their life. Help is offered to them, but the home comes first, with no conditions. 4. What it looks like. When a person receives housing through the Housing First program, they get their own place. It is usually a small apartment, often with just 1 or 2 rooms. They receive a key to their door. They also sign a formal rental contract, just like any other renter. This makes it a real home, not a temporary stay. It is different from a shelter because it is permanent. People do not have to leave after a short time. The rent for these apartments is usually not paid by the person directly. It is typically covered by government housing benefits. For example, in places like Silta, the rent might be around 750 euros per month, but this amount is paid by welfare support, not the resident's pocket. So, having a home does not cost the person money they do not have. Let's look at an example. In Helsinki, there is a place called Silta. It is a building complex. It looks like normal housing from the outside. Inside, it is divided into different parts, or wings. These parts are for people with different needs, such as those who are homeless or need help with health. But each person living there has their own private flat upstairs. There are about 21 residents in Silta. Downstairs, there are places for everyone to use together. There is a kitchen, a lounge, a gym, and even a sauna. Social workers work at places like Silta. They have offices in the building or visit often. Their job is to offer support to the people living in the apartments. They are there to help with many things. This help can include finding health care, understanding and getting government money or benefits, and looking for a job. They can also help with other issues like addiction or mental health if the person needs it. It is very important that this support is not required. The help offered by social workers is optional. People living in the Housing First apartments can choose if they want help or not. They do not have to agree to help or stop using drugs or alcohol to keep their home. The home is given first, without conditions. The support is there when they feel ready or need it. This system gives people dignity and respect. They have their own private space with a lockable door. They have a contract that says this is their home. This feeling of security and privacy is very important. Having a stable home first helps people feel safe. It gives them a base. From this safe base, they can start to think about other parts of their life. They can address health problems or look for work when they are ready. The home is the foundation. The support is there to help build on that foundation, but the person living there is in control. This is what Housing First looks like in practice for the people it helps. It shows that a home is a right. 5. Did it work? The numbers. After Finland started using the Housing First idea, people wanted to know, did it work? We can find the answer by looking at the numbers. The number of people who did not have a home in Finland went down very much. This was a great success story. Think about the past. In the year 1986, there were about 16,000 people without homes. Over many years, this number dropped greatly. It went down to about 3,800 people today. This is a big drop, about 80% less homeless people than before. Also, a specific problem almost disappeared in the biggest cities, like Helsinki. This problem is called rough sleeping. It means people sleeping outside on the streets or in parks because they have no place to go. With Housing First, you saw very few people sleeping like this anymore. It became a rare sight. Because of this success, Finland became famous around the world. Many people talked about how Finland was solving homelessness. At that time, it was one of the few countries in the European Union where the number of homeless people was going down. In most other countries in Europe, the number was getting bigger. Finland showed that it was possible to make a big change. But the numbers from the year 2024 showed a new situation. For the first time in 11 years, the number of homeless people went up. It was not a huge jump, but there were 377 more people counted as homeless than in the year before. The number of people sleeping outside also went up more sharply, by 50%. Why did this happen? People who study this problem in Finland say it is because things became harder for poor people. The cost of renting a home went up, and the money and help people got from the government went down. When these things changed, some people lost their homes again. This small rise in 2024 is a warning. It shows that solving homelessness needs constant work and money. The Housing First idea is strong, but it needs support all the time. If the support stops or becomes less, the number of people without homes can start to grow again. Finland's story shows that success is possible, but it must be protected with continuous effort and funding. The fight is not truly finished. 6. Does it save money? Finland's idea of giving homeless people a home first seemed like it would cost a lot of money. But there is a surprising point about this. It can actually save money. Think about a person living on the street. This person often needs help from the police. They might get sick and need to go to the hospital many times. They might need other emergency services. All this help costs the government money, a lot of money. Now think about a person who has a home. They have a safe place to live. They might still need help sometimes, but they use fewer emergency services. They are less likely to go to the hospital often or need the police. Finland looked at these costs. They found that giving a person a home and support is cheaper than letting them stay homeless. One study estimated that society saves up to €15,000 for each person each year by providing them with housing instead of leaving them on the street. Yes, building new houses or buying apartments costs money in the beginning. It is an investment. But over time, the money saved from not paying for many emergency visits to hospitals and police actions is bigger. The cost of having no home is very high for society. So even though it costs money to give someone an apartment, it saves more money in the long run. It helps the person, and it helps the government budget too. Housing First is not just good for people, it is also a smarter financial plan. 7. Why it is hard to copy. Copying Finland's success with Housing First is not easy for other countries. Many places try this idea, but they still have many people without homes. For example, in a place like California in the United States, homelessness is a big problem, even with Housing First programs. There are main reasons why it is hard to copy Finland. First, there are not enough houses that people can afford. The cost of renting or buying a home is too high for many people. If there are not enough homes or they are too expensive, it is hard to give a home to every person who needs one. In places with very high housing costs like California, this is a major problem. People become homeless simply because they cannot pay for a place to live. There are not enough affordable homes ready to use. Second, building new houses can cost a lot of money. In some places, building one small apartment costs a very high amount. This makes it difficult to create enough new homes quickly to help everyone who needs one. Finland already had some social housing, and they could also buy existing homes. This is harder in places where property is very expensive and building costs are high. Third, people's beliefs can make it hard. In many countries, people think that you must earn help. They believe a person should get a job or stop using drugs or alcohol before getting a home. They do not like the idea of giving a home first without conditions. This way of thinking is very different from the housing first idea that a home is a basic right like water or air. This political and social belief makes it difficult for governments to fully use the housing first model. Fourth, there is often a social problem called stigma. This means that some people think negatively about homeless people. They might think homeless people are lazy or somehow less good. This feeling makes it hard for society to truly accept and support programs that give homes freely. Overcoming this negative feeling is a big barrier. Also, helping people after they get a home can be difficult. Social workers need to visit people to help them with things like health or finding work. If the homes are far apart in a large city area, it takes a lot of time for the helpers to travel. In some places, there are not enough social workers to give this support. Finland has a stronger system for this kind of help. So, even though housing first is a good idea, it needs other things to work well. It needs enough affordable houses, money for building, and people to believe that housing is a right for everyone. Without these things, copying Finland's success is very hard. 8. A lesson for the world. Finland's way of helping people without homes is important for the world to see. They used an idea called housing first. It means giving a home to a person right away. This simple idea has helped Finland greatly reduce homelessness. It shows that this approach can work very well. It is like a powerful blueprint or a guide for other countries. But this plan is not a magic answer that works perfectly everywhere without any changes. Every country has different problems and different ways of doing things. So, copying Finland's success is not always easy. For the housing first idea to be successful, some important things must be ready in a country. First, there must be enough houses for everyone. If there are not enough places to live that people can afford, it is hard to give homes to people who are homeless. Building more affordable homes is often necessary. Second, the country needs enough money to support the program. This means money to build or buy houses and money to pay for help from social workers and other services people might need. This help is important so people can stay in their homes and solve other problems. Third, and maybe the hardest part, the people who lead the country and the citizens must really believe in this idea. They must have the political will to make it happen and keep it going. Sometimes people think that homeless people must earn their housing by first changing their lives. This way of thinking or stigma can stop housing first plans. The most important lesson from Finland's experience is very strong. It shows that when you see housing as a basic human right, not as something people get as a reward. You can change many lives. Giving a safe home first provides a stable place. From this stability, people can work on other challenges like health or finding a job. Finland's story offers hope to countries around the world. It shows that solving homelessness on a large scale is possible. Other nations can learn from Finland and use housing first as a direction. They may need to change the specific details to fit their own country's needs and resources. But the main idea, giving a home first, is a strong and helpful way to begin. It shows that helping people with dignity can make a big positive change for individuals and for the whole country. It proves that reducing this difficult problem is something we can do. What do you think is the biggest barrier to solving homelessness in your country? A lack of money, a lack of housing, or a lack of political will?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.